Hello everybody, welcome back to another Grassroots Rundown, the first of the Virginia Triple Crown in 2025. Round 1 of 3 is complete here at South Boston. The Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 was tonight, 19th annual Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200. And we had a back-to-back winner. Connor Hall won the race. I'm Chase Folsom, here with Michael Massie. We were here for all the action and Connor Hall's win. I don't think he had the best car. Two different teams, 2 years in a row. And he set himself up as the guy to beat in the Triple Crown. Did you expect anything less out of Connor Hall?
I mean, of course not, because he's such a good driver, just making things happen. He got the lead on a restart and just kind of never relinquished it. And let's face it, I don't think he even had a top 2 car. I think Matt Waltz, Tate Fogelman, I think they were both faster than him. But fast car doesn't always win. He played great defense. Waltz on one run was lighting up his bumper, and he would not let him go. And just a great race, even if it took what felt like 4 hours long. Good performance for Connor Hall. He could win this Triple Crown.
Lots of attrition tonight for sure, but what I saw out of Connor, especially on that long run in the second half of the race, when he finally got around the 2 for the lead, is a guy who had a lot of patience. He knew he needed to park it on the bottom. He needed to keep the 2 from getting underneath him, and he needed to keep the 8 from getting underneath him, and that's exactly what he did. Wasn't always the fastest line around the racetrack, but it's what he had to do to maintain the lead. In the end, the cautions fell his way. A little bit of gamesmanship on the restarts, of course. That's what you're going to have in these races. But right now, he calls himself a two-time South Boston 200 winner, which is actually more than he can say about Hampton Heat. Who would have thought that? Speaking of Hampton Heat, and a guy that's pretty good at Langley, the guy who finished runner-up tonight, probably could have, maybe should have won the race, Matt Waltz. What else did he needed to do to get back up there at the end?
Oh, that answer is simple. He was getting held up, and he just needed to move these guys. He got shuffled back on the last restart, all the way back to 5th, and just had to work his way up there. He ran out of time, unfortunately, but if he had been more aggressive, if he had been using that bumper, he might have got there, because, man, that 2 car was so fast. The entry to the corner, it looked like everyone else was doing kind of a normal entry. He was just flying in there. And it's just disappointing that a car that fast, you can see it on his face, that he knew he had the car to beat, and he didn't get it done. But just got to be a little more aggressive, Matt.
Absolutely. I mean, I talked to him right when he got out of the car. Then between the fireworks show and podium festivities, we had to circle back and finish up our interview in tech. So the demeanor had changed between 2 minutes after the race and an hour after the race. But 2 minutes after the race, you could tell. He knew they had the car to beat, and he didn't get it done. Partially due to, like I mentioned, gamesmanship on a restart, which you're going to have that even in a place like South Boston that has such a small restart zone. But for a team like them who isn't one of the Cars Tour traveling teams, they're a Langley regular team. They show up here, which is one of their not-so-great tracks, and they had the car to beat. They've got to have a lot of confidence going back home for round 2 of the Triple Crown. They've got a 2.0 right now. All you've got to do, finish top 3, top 5 at Langley, and you are one of the guys to beat for that 20K at Martinsville. So he's got to be through the roof right now once he sits on it and says, you know what, we're not so bad after all. The same cannot be said for a lot of guys here tonight, specifically your top 3 in South Boston points. That would be Trevor Ward, Peyton Sellers, and Landon Pembleton. We'll start with Landon Pembleton because I didn't see it. You did. What on earth did you see happen to the 0? Because we heard all about it afterwards.
So Landon, the first stage of the race, the 50 laps, he was moving up. He looked pretty good. All of a sudden, it's like he kind of stalled out, kind of started fading back. I was wondering if there was something not, maybe he used the tires up or something. Didn't really know what was going on. All of a sudden, I'm looking over there at turn 3. It looked like a missile went off. Like I just, whoa, just big old flame just came. I have never seen a car go from blowing up to on fire that fast. It was incredible. I'm glad he's all right. I'm glad he got it out of there in time. But, oh, that thing detonated, and it was crazy.
Absolutely. I talked to him right when he got out of the ambulance, and I said, what did you see? What did you feel from behind the steering wheel? And he goes, well, it felt like a damn fireball. And I'd say it's safe to say it looked like one. As for the other two, Sellers and Ward, their nights were really over before it started. We had an incident on lap 1 with cars that started on the front row. Trevor Ward got nosed into the outside wall on that, and Peyton Sellers ran over the, I believe it was the left front of the 91 car who had spun in front of him. And, you know, for those two guys who have put so much work and time and effort into going win for win in weekly shows here at South Boston, they're both guys that have won a Triple Crown before. You know they want to win the $20,000 with the added purse this year. It starts off at their home track, and it all just goes south so quickly. That's got to sting.
Yeah, for Trevor and Peyton, I mean, they didn't even get a chance to really go. It's turn 3, the first lap. It's pretty much over for them. Peyton, I mean, both guys did keep going. They were able to salvage somewhat of a finish, but still, you're not going to win the Triple Crown finishing 20th. For Peyton, it looked like he could have gotten the thing back to going pretty good after some repairs earlier, but it just seemed like every wreck that happened early in the race was right in front of him. He just could not catch a break. None of it was his fault. Everything was just a car in front of him. And Trevor, you know, he's such a good racer as well. Been a threat for the Triple Crown before, and it really is too bad. I feel like you pretty much got to write off all 3 of the guys you mentioned right now for the Triple Crown.
You could say that. I will say, 2 years ago when Trevor Ward won the Triple Crown, he won it with a double-digit average finish. Everybody had a bad race that year. If that's how it plays out this year, those guys could still be in play, along with a guy like Landon Huffman, for example, who got caught up in a bunch of stuff tonight as well. But for now, it's Connor Hall sitting pretty at the top. Don't say Connor Hall. Who's your pick to win the Triple Crown from here on out? You can't take the low-hanging fruit.
I tell you what, if he shows up looking as good as he did tonight, Matt Waltz. Because he is a Langley track champion. That is his track, his home track. I think he could go out there and win that race. Like, probably should have won the car store race there earlier this year. And then at that point, you know, he's got a 1.5 average. All he's really got to do is just probably just get a good finish, good top 10 or something at Martinsville, and he's got the thing. So that's who I'm picking. Matt Waltz convinced me tonight.
I think that's probably the safest pick outside of the obvious Connor Hall. I'm going to say a guy, maybe not to win it, but a guy everybody should keep their eye on, Ronnie Bassett Jr. Clean race car tonight, comes home 6th, sitting with a 6.0. He's had the speed at Martinsville and Langley in the past. They could be a threat, especially leaving out of Langley if they have a good run there. One more for you. Who wins those 2 races?
Well, I got to back up the Waltz thing and pick him again, even if that's lazy. Martinsville this year, man, that's going to be a tough one. Oh, I feel like Connor Hall is a pick, but I also don't see how I could pick Connor Hall to win that and not win
unless he wins the Triple Crown.
So I'm kind of talking out both sides of my mouth here, but it does feel, I don't know. Hall
it feels
will have,
like Connor Hall's year.
Yeah, it feels like his year to win Martinsville, but I think he'll have a bad Langley. That'll be the way to do it. Bad Langley.
Oh, that's a bold prediction.
Yeah, I know, right?
Another Langley guy.
Another Langley guy. So don't put any stock into my predictions, but but Waltz will win the Triple Crown. Win Langley. Connor Hall wins the clock.
All right, so I have a pick for Langley, but I'm not going to say it on air yet because I can't. If you read between the lines, you can figure it out. It's a guy that's won there a time or two. As for Martinsville, I do think it's Connor Hall's year. He gets his clock, same way Carson Quapple had his moment last year, and Connor Hall could be moving on to bigger and better things next year. So, undisclosed pick for Langley and Connor Hall for Martinsville. That is going to do it for us at South Boston. Round 1 of 3 for the Virginia Triple Crown. We'll be right back with more coverage when Langley comes around, and then we'll have a whole week's worth of coverage when Martinsville comes around because it is the Super Bowl of late model stock car racing. For Michael Massie, I'm Chase Folsom. Good night from South Boston Speedway.
Hey race fans, I'm Anthony Damcott with Frontstretch.com. If you enjoyed that Grassroots video, be sure to subscribe to Frontstretch Grassroots for more from ARCA, Cars Tour, and other homegrown racing series. And be sure to visit Frontstretch.com for all the latest great racing content.